I'm Watch Eric and thank you for tuning in. On this video, I'm going to be doing a review on the AP 41mm Rose Gold Perpetual Calendar. So the first thing I want to point out is I love this watch. I know that I always say I'm AP gang and all that, but how can you possibly go wrong with this? 41mm rose gold blue dial. This particular watch comes in two different dial variations. It comes in the white or the blue. I'm not gonna get into the whole special edition one because they have a Latin America one. That one's not what I'm talking about. With the white and blue, I mean, who really picks the white over the blue? Let's be straight up. The blue is the one to go for. And something about this watch that just really puts it on so much more of a big boy level. I tell a lot of people that this is pretty much the last stop before a skeleton. And people go, what do you mean? Well, a skeleton's gonna cost you easily $125. Where something like this, it's gonna be still under the 100,000 range. So for me, being the last stop before the skeleton is a big and major step. So in comparison to, for example, an AP 41 Chrono, this is obviously another level because of the complication. It just makes it that much more of a serious piece. Now for a Perpetual Calendar, this is the complication as follows. It has the month, the date, the day, the leap year, the week of the year, and the moon phase as a complication. And it seems to be very well laid out, and it's a lot to have in one package. Although it's not the ultra thin, it still is very nice in size and not thick at all. One thing I want to point out about the layout of this dial, and it's the only thing that I'm not going to say I don't like, because I love everything about this watch, but it's the one thing that took me a little bit to get used to. The actual hand that displays the week of the year is a solid white hand with an arrow point. Now, the thing about it is that, believe it or not, it almost looks like a second hand that's stopped. Something about it doesn't give me the same vibe as, for example, a GMT hand. So at first it's the only thing that I had to get used to, but that only lasted about 15 minutes, and then I don't even see it anymore. So overall, I love the layout of the dial and the color. On previous Royal Oaks, where they come out with blue dials, I felt like the blue wasn't really that dark. It's almost like you had to hit it in direct sunlight for it to shine that blue color. But on the Perpetual Calendar, I think it's the perfect tone of blue. One of my favorite things about the dial of this watch is the finish that they use for the actual sky background where the moon faces. It actually has the nice little spark on it, and it's just that one detail that I constantly look at. I feel like whenever I look at the dial, that's what I'm looking at. If you actually loop the moon face of this watch, beautiful, it's amazing. I'm not gonna lie, it looks so good. Another thing about this model that looks completely different as opposed to a standard 41mm self-winding Royal Oak would be the Caseback. The way that they laid out the whole movement with the rotor and everything is stunning. It looks completely different than a standard Royal Oak 41 self-winding. It just looks that much nicer and more luxurious, you know. Being that it was gonna be their flagship Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar, obviously they want that to be emphasized as much possible through the Caseback. One cool thing to know is that if you actually set up all the functions of this Perpetual Calendar and manage to keep the watch running that long, it will keep time and everything else perfect till 2100. Little fun fact that none of us are gonna use. Another thing I wanna point out is that it comes with a nice little pusher to adjust all of those functions, but you wanna be careful setting that. You're very tempted when you first get one of these watches to quickly get that nice gold pusher and go ahead and actuate this, but the boutique and the factory actually strongly recommends not to be playing too much with the functions of this watch. You have to read the instructions and do it correctly, or otherwise you could cause damage to the movement and will require perhaps maybe service. Prices. Retail price of this watch is $95,700. And it's one of the few AP Royal Oaks right now that are actually not over retail. I would say if you're gonna pick one up pre-owned, you're gonna probably be anywhere from 85 to 90. At this current moment, we'll have to wait and see what happens. It could possibly go up. But overall, a lot of value there, and you get a lot of bang for your buck in one package. All right, so as far as the watch game goes, I'm gonna go and say it again. I feel like this is the last stop before you go to the double balanced Openworked, AKA the skeleton, skelly, whatever you wanna call it. I just feel like it is the last stop because in order to get to that skeleton, you gotta drop easily another $30,000, which not everybody is willing to do. For me, I would say that for the price range, I absolutely love this watch. If you notice how many times I look at the dial, it's just because I like to wear it and it's a great looking watch. And in the game, it's obviously a heavy hitter. You have price to back it up. You have complication, and there just isn't that many around like pretty much all of the hot watches nowadays. So who is this watch for? I mean, it's pretty much for somebody that wants something at the crest right before 100,000 that has more of a complication, so that way it would say, hey, this is a piece that has a bit more of horology into it and a lot more of work going into it, not the standard run-of-the-mill cookie cutter watches that are kind of popular nowadays. This is something that takes you to the next level and puts you more serious into the watch collecting or the watch game. Besides the point that the Patek obviously has that whole, it's worth 150,000, like it would be really hard if I had to choose between this and a 5980. It's like, it's a hard choice because this has got all those elements. The other one just has, I mean, it is the Jefe, but if you would compare it retail to retail, I mean, this is a heavy piece. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the AP Perpetual Calendar. And if you're looking to buy or sell a watch, contact me using the link below or through my Instagram, watch.Eric. And if you like this video, like and share it. Also, subscribe to my channel.